Hey folks, in this video we're going to talk about and hopefully fix some more bad advice that exists in the bluegrass world. Alright, so if you haven't seen the first episode of Fixing Bad Advice, you can watch it up here. If you have any more examples of bad advice, please leave them down in the comments and consider subscribing to my channel. I do want to make one more announcement before we get going, and that is I recently started a new Instagram account. It's called Jazz and Grass, and I'm doing it with my friend Lyman Lipke. It is a daily lick channel on Instagram, all guitar licks, and it's me and him switching back and forth between bluegrass licks and jazz licks. You can also find that account on Facebook at Jazz and Grass. Anyway, let's get into this bad advice. So I definitely heard this a lot when I was starting out playing bluegrass, and every time I hear an older player tell this to a younger player, I know that they're going to be in for a really hard time. So let me just come out and say it. Learning fiddle tunes doesn't teach you to improvise. It will give you a lot of just common bluegrass convention, what chords to expect, how melodies are constructed, what rhythms are common, etc., etc. But all the knowledge you might acquire doesn't really translate to improvisational skills. Being able to improvise is its own skill set. So that's something you have to practice on its own. It's strange that this advice is so widespread because players from other genres that have fiddle tunes, like Irish music or old-time music, aren't necessarily capable improvisers. So it should be obvious to us that just knowing lots of fiddle tunes doesn't make you an improviser, right? Being able to improvise in a genre, you learn by practicing improvising in that genre, right? It should seem obvious now. Besides helping with convention, learning a lot of fiddle tunes will give you a very large repertoire though, which is a huge part of the bluegrass community, right? You're expected to know tons of standards, and I'm fairly certain I've never been to a jam where I knew every song that was called. You're also expected to know standard song forms, like for fiddle tunes, A, A, B, B, or for singing stuff, the kick off, verse, chorus, break kind of stuff. And learning a bunch of tunes will help you do that. So there is a benefit to learning lots of tunes. I'm not saying don't learn lots of tunes. I'm just saying that might not be what helps you improvise the most. It's not what helped me learn how to improvise the most. So learning fiddle tunes means you have a good knowledge of convention and you have a large repertoire to draw from, which means when you go to learn new tunes, it should be easy, and you should also be able to do it on the fly. But learning how to improvise means you can embellish those tunes, right? They're two different things. My cat just walked in the room. Say something into the microphone. Anyway, being able to improvise and knowing lots of fiddle tunes are two different things. So I got a comment like this recently, and honestly, I expected to get a lot more comments like this when I started this YouTube channel. What these people don't realize is this outlook of so-and-so doesn't do blank, so I don't have to either, will eventually hurt your playing, and hurt your playing in a big way too. We should be learning how to do things in what is currently believed to be the best way, right? I mean, you want to be an amalgamation of all of your favorite players' strengths, not all of your favorite players' quirks. I think that's why when we start looking back at first generation, second generation, even third generation players, you start seeing some weird anomalies start popping up. Lester Flatt uses that thumb pick, or Tony Rice moves his thumb in that weird way with his wrist kind of cocked, and apparently Brian Sutton braces. The bluegrass community is a rock tumbler, and it's polishing away all these imperfections so we can play cleaner, easier, without injury, and it's bluegrass, so I guess faster as well. But honestly, look around at all the young hotshots. That's my cat again. Got one more in you? But honestly, look at all your young hotshots of the world, your Trey Hensleys, right? And these guys aren't a collection of bad habits and quirks. These guys are like well-oiled machines, right? Any oddities that currently exist in their playing, they're going to be ironed out by the next generation, and so on and so forth. That's the point. Check out this lazy jerk. Music theory really gets a bum deal when we're talking about our more traditional genres, so let me drop a truth bomb on you. Any descriptive way of labeling music is music theory. For instance, Bill Monroe was known for talking about the ancient tones in bluegrass. right? And Ricky Skaggs is actually quoted as saying that when prodded, Bill explained that the ancient tones came from the Irish and Scottish influence that remained in bluegrass. So what's this have to do with music theory? Well, a lot of these old tunes that remained in the bluegrass realm, tunes like Red-Haired Boy, they involve some modal passages. In fact, Red-Haired Boy, Salt Creek, and Big Mon, which Bill wrote, all have flat 7 chords in them, right? That is to say, some part of the melody or chord structure is in the Mixolydian mode. So in a music school near you, some kid is learning about mode mixture, and at a bluegrass festival near you, some kid is learning about the ancient tones. They're both learning about the same thing with different words. And somewhere in a rehearsal for a bluegrass band, some kid's learning about the high lonesome sound. He's trying to copy Bill's falsetto, Bill's tenor voice. Are these all descriptive responses to different musical techniques, whether they be performance or composing? Yeah. So if you're okay with learning about the ancient tones, why aren't you okay with learning about mode mixture? They're the same concepts. Whatever, Marcel. I don't want to learn about any of that stuffy, boring stuff. Here's Tony Rice talking about how he ripped a chord change from a French composer from the late 1800s.
Actually, that sequence of changes comes from a Debussy piece.
Oh, really?
Which is a weird inversion of an A minor.
I just kind of feel like if Tony says it's cool, then it's cool. Except for ovations. Ovations are not cool. And that was the only time that Tony Rice was ever wrong. You can't plug in, you have to play into a mic. Not even. Look, this is my Martin. I plug it in for every show. And if this recording doesn't prove it, I don't know what will.
Well, I was born in the Southland.
You can do whatever you want as long as it sounds good. Alright everyone, if you like this video, please comment, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I love it when you guys do all of those things. Once again, if you have any more bad advice, please leave it in the comments below. Or if you have any just questions in general, pop it in the comments down below. I do have to do another Q&A video soon, so I would love to see all your questions. If you're looking for any more content, once again, you can follow my new account, Jazz and Grass, on Instagram. You can also follow my normal account on Instagram. I also have a Twitter, I have a Facebook page, and I have a website, lessonswithmarcel.com. In fact, everything is branded at Lessons with Marcel. So check all that out if you would. So anyway, yeah, I guess I'll see all you guys next time. Not on the keyboard.